Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the live stream today, mateys. As the title of the video says, it's the calm before the storm. You know what they say, today's Wednesday. Wednesday, Mercedes-Benz Day. Why do they say that? Because on Wednesdays, the price pops, baby, to a new all-time high. And we take those profits and we take them straight to the dang Mercedes-Benz dealership. We buy ourselves a freshie, if you know what I mean. I'm sure you guys do, because we've all been through many Wednesdays in the past. Yes, we have. Yes, indeed, yes. Quite interesting. We are live on this beautiful Wednesday. God bless you all in Jesus' name. I do pray you and your families are super blessed. And guys, here's the thing. As the title of the video does say, this is the calm before the storm. As the Bitcoin price and altcoins even are coiling up for a big move. It's going to be pretty intense, man. And honestly, on Wednesday, those are usually the days where we get the big volatility coming in. Now, we're going to be taking a look at the charts to see, is it likely to happen today? Or is this calm going to last a little bit longer? But objectively speaking, as we look at the chart, even on the 1 hour, I mean, we just see that Bitcoin has clearly gotten a big break to the upside and is now forming a consolidation pattern. And the question on everyone's mind is the breakout imminent? Or are we going to get a back test of support before the breakout? And we're going to be discussing that, looking at the chart. So we got to shout out everybody right now in the dang chat. All right, shout out to Guy Incognito. He asked me to check out Bitcoin D yesterday. We'll check it out. Shout out to TNT Tomorrow's News Today, 7 Bill. Shout out to Lel Gem. Sometimes it's easy to see what's going on. Today price action makes no sense. Guys, when we squeeze and consolidate like this, it is difficult to trade. And honestly, I haven't taken any trades since Sunday night. I haven't taken a dang trade since Sunday night. Shout out to Ninjo. He says this guy's energy is next level. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I feel like my energy's a little bit low today. I gotta get this treadmill cranked up, baby. Shout out to HFG. God bless you. Shout out to John Ploney. He says, let's go, Jay. Shout out to Dr. Rex. Good afternoon from Belgium, peeps. Shout out to everyone in Belgium. Belgium? That's different than Belgian waffles, right? That's Belgian. See, us Americans, we don't know anything about you guys over there in Australia. Shout out to Keep On Grinding. He says, I made R600 profits trading gold using information from the free course. God bless Jay with more prosperity. Well, I don't need any more prosperity, but I do pray that the Lord continues to bless me and my family in different ways. And if that includes more prosperity, then may I do with it according to the spirit of His instruction. Shout out to my man, Tomas Simone, who says, peace from hungry. Right back at you from thirsty, bro. Man, us Americans, with our subtly offensive understanding of geometry, right? Geometry. All the different countries of the world, the study of that, geometry. Shout out to my man, VRMA Mimrat. He says, alrighty, y'all. Major shout out to Investment Time. Right back at you, bro. Help says, 50% correction on the Sheet A coins. And Traveling Trader BMW says, check out Dual Stream. I'll have to check that out. Shout out to Felipe. Gold Root. Chop, where's the pump? We're going to talk about it. Major shout to Yazar Dunkasaurus with the plungers. You see a 20% correction on the BTC? Wow. That's a big correction, man. Shout out to MigDS, who's early. That's what's up. Shout out to Crypto Sharknado and Mickey. What's up, Mickey? Hey, Mickey, how are you? Shout out to Asada, who says, Steph, man, the big nose. Guys believe their God controls and cares about money, LOL. I believe that 100%, bro. I believe that 100%. Jesus talks more about money than he talks about pretty much any other topic. You know, it's a very interesting thing. But yeah, of course God cares about money. Of course God cares about money. Come on, man. Now, I'm assuming you don't even believe in God in the first place. Well, you're a fool! Unlike me! I'm not a fool. If I am a fool, I'm a fool for the Lord. Shout out to Daniel. He says LMAOOO. Shout out to Let's Go Fishing, who says God bless Jay. May God bless you. May God bless you. Shout out to Naughty JN. Belgianimt over. Okay. Cool, man. Shout out to Cuddy, who says finish the course, Jay. Funded account next. That's what's up. Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Crypto Keto Lifestyle, man. That's what's up. Get a little bit of crypto and throw out the carbs, man. Trade your cards for crypto. Shout out to Gen X Crypto, who says RIP Ozzy. Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne passed away yesterday, guys, which is pretty crazy, considering the amount of influence, interestingly enough, that Ozzy Osbourne has had in my own personal life. I'm surprised he lived so long, to be honest. No, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's kind of sad that that like Randy Rhoads died so young. And Ozzy even said, you know, a lot of times that he should have been the one, considering his lifestyle, right? It's pretty crazy. You could live in the most crazy way and still have a pretty long life. But this is definitely the end of an era, at least from a musical perspective. Major shout out to is there an exchange that does no more than 10x leverage? I'm not sure, man. But if you're having problems with leverage, you should probably just stay away from trading. Permabull streamers, man, we are permabull. I have to be honest with you. I need another sip of coffee from my Market Cipher mug. Look, when you fill out the application on CryptoStreamerJobs.com, one of the first questions they ask you is, will you ever talk about a bearish sentiment? If you check yes, you don't get the job. Alright, so if you check no, I will never be bearish on stream, they actually give you a bonus when you start your job. They actually pay you off. They give you a whole Bitcoin just to always be bullish. Alright? Especially at the top. Alright, they say, will you ever be bearish at the top? If you say yes, you don't get the job. If you say no, never at the top, they give you a Bitcoin. Because Crypto Streamer Jobs Incorporated, they exist only to make people buy the top, really. It's a sad thing, but look, the system's broken, but the people within the system can be good. Or it's like the public education system, right? The system's broken, all right? They're trying to raise your kids to be gay communists. But there's some good teachers in there, you know what I'm saying? I had a good teacher myself back when I was in school. You know, my main interest was really the topic of trans, non-carbon, binary, emission, gender studies. I had some good teachers in there that tried to steer me in the right direction, even though the system was really trying to push me in the trans, non-carbon, binary, emission, gender, intersectionality studies. And, you know, I think I ended up alright. I mean, you know, let's do a little comparison. You know, it was pretty good, I'd say. I'd give it a C+, and how I turned out. You know? Yeah, so we are consolidating, you know? How to get a crypto job, just, actually, funny enough, I really actually do think that Carl from the Moon has a website. You know? But the only way to do it, guys, is just start a dang YouTube channel and, you know, do your thing. Do your thing. Yeah, Ozzy did a lot of drugs, Yeah, you know, it's a very sobering thing when people pass away, whether they be famous musicians, family members, or just anybody. It really puts you into perspective about how short life is. And there's so many distractions out there to try and keep you from focusing on what's important, your relationship with the Lord, and your relationship with your family and your friends. And it's just so crazy, especially to think about like the 80s hair metal, glam metal, whatever metal, that lifestyle of complete excess, and the fame and the fortune and the glamorous lifestyles. I'll bet you a lot of those guys in their teens and 20s felt so invincible, and now they're all starting to go the way of all flesh. You know, Eddie Van Halen's gone. That was a big one for me. Ozzy Osbourne, man, that's crazy. That's why you just gotta prioritize the priorities in life, guys. Number one, your relationship with God. All right, focus on the eternal things, because everything else is passing away, and you can't take none of this stuff with you. All right, you can't take none of this stuff with you. Algorithms working good every time I say trans, non-carbon, binary, emission, gender, intersectionality studies. Yeah. You said 10 days, we need the big move. What do I think now? Well, shout out to Jake's Games. We're going to dive into the charts here. If there's an Aussie coin that tops in... Yeah. It's interesting. Didn't he just play the last show? Recently, a few months ago, he played a show, right? Ozzy Osbourne? Shout out to Keep On Grinding. He says we should always pray to God to increase our days in the earth. We can make plans about the future, but if our days are short, it's a waste of time. Even to have a dream. Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. I always think about these types of things because I'm a weirdo, right? I spend my time outside looking up, praying, and contemplating life. You know, I've got myself a young baby boy. I've got myself a 98-year-old grandfather. At the two ends of life, and a lot of deep thoughts I have about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Alrighty. Get outside and grow something new. If you do want to feel close to the Creator, go outside and grow something, alright? Alright, let's pop into the charts here, guys. What in the world? What in the world is going on? We are ranging like crazy. Yesterday, we gave these two levels here. Alright, we're basically saying, I'm not really interested in trading this thing unless we lose 115 or reclaim 121. Up into this box of resistance. And what's so interesting here is, you know, we came down, we took the liquidity once, we got to move to the top of the range. We came down, we took the liquidity the second time. We came to the top of the range, we took the liquidity, now we're back down inside the range. Man, this is just range city. But sometimes, you know what they say, trade the range to make the change. But here's the deal, this is absolutely coiling up for a large move. And there's a few things I want to focus on. I'm gonna give a bullish scenario here, guys. All right, I'm gonna give a bullish scenario, and I'm gonna have to say that I do lean bullish. Oh man, we were so close to that green dot. We might actually get a green dot today, guys. We might get a green dot in the daily. We confirm a green dot in the daily, and I'm going to be very confident in the breakout. The 4 hour. Okay, hear me out here on the 4 hour, guys. Now, keep in mind, as we consolidate, it's very difficult to keep our pulse, to keep our finger on the pulse of the market, because the oscillators get squeezed together. But, I just want to point something out here. Call me crazy, all right? Call me crazy. But Mark Cipher B on the 4 hour has just broken out of the trend line. And not only that, but connect the green dots at the low. And we had some nice bullish divergence, multiple drive, as we came down to the low. And we are seeing this squeezing together. This squeezing together. We saw a real squeeze here. This, to me, looks pretty bottomy on market Cipher B. All right. Now, I'm not... hear me out. I was never long because of this. All right. Because it's... Like I said, when we're consolidating like this, the signals become muddied because the oscillator has to print no matter what. But if we're looking at this just as an overall structure, we're seeing bullish divergences as we come down to the lows. And we're seeing what looks to be a bottoming out of money flow, like the money flow bottomed out and is now going to start to come back up. And we're seeing the momentum breaking this trend line. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 red dots below the trend line. Now we've broken out. And we had bullish divergence at these lows here. All right. We also see that the daily is about to print a green dot. And as we go down to lower time frames like the Uno hour, the last major low that we made here, we are just seeing very clear bullish divergence. Even locally right here, we got a nice little, I mean, this is the classic uneven butt cheek pattern where the momentum wave, you got, you know, this is where the original uneven butt cheek pattern meme came from. You know, when you've got yourself that juicy left cheek and that skinny right cheek, where it's one momentum wave, right? It's one momentum wave. And there's that crack in the middle, right? This is a super bullish pattern here. Money flow getting higher, momentum getting higher as we bottomed out. And now we're printing another trigger wave as we backtest once again the POC. All right. So this is my case for a bullish breakout of this pattern. Keep in mind, we have had a really good weekly candle close, 2 of them, right? So I'm still going based on the pattern here that when we get the weekly breakout, which we have had many times during this bull run, we get the weekly breakout, we have big follow through, right? And there was one time back in, I guess, the winter of 2024, early winter, like February, that we get the breakout, then we have a purple doji, and then off to the races. So I'm feeling like that could very well happen here. The weekly time frame is looking kind of toppy, but I'd say it's safe to say that the weekly time frame is looking very similar to how it looked over here in November, where we still had 1, 2, 3, 4 more weeks of upside, a whole month more of upside before we got that first retracement. All right. So I am leaning more bullish than I am bearish here, but I'm cautiously bullish. All right, got to be cautiously bullish right now. Because, like I said, as we squeeze together, I'm leaning bullish. I'm leaning for this to be a bullish breakout. But at the same time, I recognize the fact that because we're building liquidity below this trend line, right? We got stop losses. If we lose this trend line, it will be a fast and smooth move back down to retest the support resistance flip that we have between 109 and 112. So I'm cautiously bullish. And look, I'm not the kind of guy who would take long trade now. I'm the kind of guy who would take a long trade at the lows of the range. All right. And here's the thing. You guys know, if you follow my channel, that I just because I expect to move up doesn't mean I'm entering into a new leverage position. All right. It means I'm holding my current leverage positions for higher. All right. And if you're in the Casper Crew VIP Discord at jasoncaspertrading.com, we gave the long from 116. All right. We gave the long from this area again. We gave the long from 115. We gave the long from 100,000. I'm sorry, 105, 100,000. Gave these trade setups. So we've been building up our longs, right? Every time we come down to a key support, I'm getting into a long trade. I'm locking in profits along the way. And I'm maintaining myself in these long positions along the way up. So I'm still hoping for, more upside on the long trades that I've already taken. So I just want to make this clear, because people watch YouTube and they hit the leverage long button because the guy's bullish. I'm bullish, but you got to be careful if you're trading on leverage. You got to know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, check out my free course. It's on my YouTube channel. It's 100% free. So here's what we really need to see today if we want to see more upside. I would really love for us to hold 118, and I want to print the green dot on market Cipher B. We're so dang close. This yellow oscillator needs to cross the 0 line on the daily. And then I say we're going to 130,000. All right, 130,000. I really like the way the 1 hour is looking right now. Here's the thing. It is a Wednesday, and I actually absolutely do believe that we could see a new all-time high today. I know it seems ridiculous right now because people are like, we've been stuck in this range forever. But that's the thing. We've been stuck in the range forever. We're seeing bullish divergences at the lows. Eventually, this is coiling up, and we're going to have a big move, and the big move is going to have follow-through. So we start to reclaim 121. Bull flag up around here. Bam! We're breaking out of this thing, baby. We are breaking out of this thing. Let's check out the order flow. All right. Check out how the order flow is looking here. Is EXO glitching again? Yeah. Man, I'm gonna have to stop using EXO charts altogether. I have to switch to like Atis or something like that. Atis. Let's head on over to CoinAlyze and take a look at this. Check out the order flow. Make sure to smash up the likes, guys. So let's go over to our 30-minute. Just take a look here. Okay, so interestingly enough, guys, we are now seeing a little bit of bullishness coming in here. You know, I would say a little bit, maybe a bullish CVD. If we maintain these higher lows. We got a little bit of local bullish CVD. Let's go back even more. So the CVD itself is bullish. The open interest is not really. Just like yesterday, we were looking at all this, basically saying like, okay, we're maintaining higher lows here. The CVD is getting lower. A lot of people trying to short this. All right, a lot of people trying to short this. Open interest, pretty flat. Open interest is pretty dang flat, which is not the best when you're looking for bullish absorption. But like when it comes to building a bias, it's really you're measuring the bullish factors against the bearish factors, saying, all right, how many bullish and how many bearish factors are there? So we're already looking at the chart on the higher time frame saying, you know, we have continuation to the upside, very possible. We're looking at the lower time frame saying we're forming market cipher bull divs as we come down to these lows. Now we look at the order flow saying, you know, it's interesting. The majority of the trades opening up here have been shorts, right? We see a lot of shorts opening up here. And when people are trying to short at the lows and we're unable to actually break the trend line and make a lower low, this is a sign that there are bigger players here who are actually filling up longs as Retail Rick. Who told me that? Was it Ponzi or was it M Freeze? I forget. Someone in the Casper Crew Discord talked about Retail Rick. I thought that was funny. I think it was Ponzi. Shout out to Ponzi. And if it was M Freeze, shout out to M Freeze. But Retail Rick is trying to short these lows. But Whale William up in here, every time these retails are shorting, Whale William's filling up his long trades, right? So somebody's holding price up here. And, you know, you can even see, very interestingly enough, how many more shorts are opening up right now than there were over here at this low, right? We're seeing big increase of shorts opening, yet we're holding that POC. So there are some bullish signs here. This trend line is going to be super important, guys. One very important level to have on your chart right now for Bitcoin is going to have to be the low that we made right here at about 115, because, you know, once we lose this, that invalidates the bullish CVD, right? That couldn't validate our bullish CVD. We'll have to kind of wait and see what happens here. Market Cipher could be bullish down here. We'll have to wait and see. This is why I am not interested in touching this thing. I am not interested in touching this Bitcoin at all until we either come down below 115 or come up around 121 or above. I think this range is kind of played out. I'm sure there's people scalping this, making a lot of money, but for me, I'd rather wait for those super juicy trades, all right? And again, if we do break out, I'm expecting a move up to $130,000, because $130,000 is our next big Fibonacci extension target. Just like our high, 123, was our Fibonacci 1.618 target. Our next, the 1.786, is sitting right around 130. You can see I have an alert up here set, just in case we get that. All right, now look at Ethereum. Ethereum also in kind of the same boat as the Bitcoin. All right. Shout out to people in the chat, man. Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. What about the bear CBD on the drop last night? Man. What is up with EXO, though? Bear CBD on the drop last night. Yeah, I see that. Wow. I see that. Yeah, it's local bear CBD for sure. You guys can't see it, but yeah, I see that. Well, I'd say it's already kind of played out. We're back down to the middle of the range. But let's take a look at ETH. All right, this is pretty crucial right now. ETH. Again, if we see a big move up today on Bitcoin and ETH is going to run. We are coming to the trend line. One tap back in 2021, two taps right here in 2024. We had another tap, a fake out. Now here we are again. This I like. I like this. I'll tell you why. The weekly market Cipher B is looking quite bullish. All right, it is looking quite bullish. And I like that we haven't taken the high yet. All right. If we were starting to do this after taking the high, that would make me a little bit more nervous. We haven't taken the high yet, so we're getting a breakout of resistance. We're getting a consolidation. And we're coiling up just like Bitcoin for another big move. And so far, the trend is up. And I would say this too. When we look at like the daily, when we look at the 4 hour, I mean, I kind of like what I see here. I understand that momentum and money flow is coming down, but when we're in a very bullish trend like this, when the weekly time frame is super bullish, when these high time frames are super bullish, I look at this a little bit differently. I'm looking at this more of like hidden bullish divergence type stuff, right? I mean, the last big swing low that we had was down here. As long as we're holding above this line, look at the hidden bullish divergence. All right. That's pretty crazy. We're making a lower low as we're breaking out, making a higher low. That next big 4 hour trigger wave, I think, could be something big. Now, I've given bullish scenarios for Bitcoin. I've given bullish scenarios for ETH. I got to get bearish scenarios now. All right. The bearish scenario number one for Bitcoin is we lose this trend line. We don't get a fake out. And we come back down to our box between 109 and 112. If we come down between 109 and 112, that, in my opinion, is going to be an opportunity for a swing trade, a swing long, potentially to the top of this bull market. This could be the last trade that we get to take until 4 years from now, right? This is just so key. We could just see this is the support resistance flip. We come down from here. That would be about from where we're currently at, about a 6 to 7% drop. And this would be a breakout, a back test, and then we shoot for the 130. This could be the last big trade. Of course, we could come much higher than 130, but 130 would be my next target. You know, people are calling for 150 or whatever. It's possible. It's possible. That's a 33% pump. You know, this is like more of a bearish scenario. Now, a really bearish scenario is if we lose this box, all right? If we lose this box and reject again, then that really opens us back up to potentially coming back down to the high 80s at this area. All right. And if that does happen, we would have another drive of bearish divergence on the weekly with the money flow. Definitely not the best look. So we definitely want to hold this box. Now for ETH, in a bearish scenario for me, the one thing I'm really keeping my eyes on here is this range, this volume. This volume right here is super important, and there's going to be two major levels that we're going to be looking for in the event of a loss of this trend line to get into a long. We have the potential of the shoulder, the head, and then a shoulder. And in my opinion, this shoulder, this right shoulder, will probably either come down to 3,300. That's going to be very key. Or we come back down to test value area low at 2,700. This right here, 2,700, that would give us a really nice inverted head and shoulders. And if we take the fib from that last swing low to the high, you can see, wow, the Fibonacci golden pocket in the 786 is coming right in that area as well. You know, we have a bearish last week of July. Let's just say, you know, we're looking for Bitcoin to come back and test 109 to 112, and we're looking for ETH to come back test 2,700, 25 to 2,700. Those are going to be major swing trade areas. And remember, this is with bullish high time frame stuff. And also, look at this. The trend line for ETH, which we have been respecting from 2022, would actually be retested again. It was support. We lost it. We consolidate at it. We reclaim it. And we come back down to test again as support. What an amazing confluence that is. What an amazing confluence that would be. And of course, you know, I'm shooting for some big targets on ETH. 5,500, that's a pretty good setup right there. Potentially even to an $8,000 ETH. You know, we're talking potentially close to 200% gains on ETH in this kind of scenario, right? This is indeed a giant bull flag, right? This whole entire pattern here is a giant bull flag. Look at how bullish, like, I mean, you could just see now in hindsight, you know, people love to do hindsight analysis. I could tell the hindsight analysis, people would be like, yeah, and it was so obvious, you know. It was just so obvious, you know, we tested that trend line again with the golden pocket and the value area low with the inverted head and shoulders. I think it's pretty obvious even before it happens, like, and the thing that's so nice about this too is that it would wreck so many people. Now I know I'm not rooting for people to get wrecked, but big moves happen after lots of people get wrecked, because that's when there's a transfer of wealth within the market, right? When a lot of people get wrecked, it puts liquidity back in the market. If I'm getting stopped out and liquidated of my longs, it means there's more available asset to be bought, right? You have a 20, 30 Ethereum position open. That 20 or 30 Ethereum is locked up, right? You can't buy or sell it. But as soon as that position gets closed, now it's available to be bought or sold again on the exchange. And so a lot of people get wrecked. If there's big players looking for big buys, now all of a sudden everyone's sold because they're stopped out and liquidated. Now they can fill up a big long and push it back to the upside, right? Pretty interesting. Pretty dang interesting. Major shout out to everybody in the shout out to everybody in the chat. CryptoFace saying Wednesdays are the best days for pumps. Yeah, so Thomas DeHauer, Wednesdays we typically do tend to get pumps. That Wednesday, oftentimes, we get that big move and it's the weekly low or the weekly high or something like that. You know? Do I have a course on leverage trading? Yeah. Yeah. It's for free on my YouTube channel. It's for free on my YouTube channel. We got some super chats in the house. Shout out to y'all super chatters. Many missed the boat on ETH. Hope I start a new channel about my deep thoughts on life. Yeah, maybe someday. Shout out to Lost Liberty. Can you check Telcoin? Absolutely. Shout out to Justin. Don't look at the chart, as there's none but just make sure to get a bag of SPX 6900, bro. Hard. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, everyone's talking about SPX 6900. We'll take a look at Telcoin real quick. We'll take a look at Bitcoin dominance. So, you know, we've been looking at this a little bit before here, but we're trading within this broadening, ascending trumpet pattern. And we have bullish divergence here. Change of market structure, trigger wave, change of market structure, trigger wave again. Bouncing from this key level of support, which is our 786, 886 Fibonacci zone. And it looks pretty good here, because once we break this, it's going to be an easy squeeze, in my opinion. Back to the all-time high. That weekly is looking really nice. Let's check out the monthly. Wow, the monthly is looking really nice. About to print a green dot now. Any moment. Let's check out the 2-week. 2-week has just confirmed the green dot below the 0 line. Let's check out the daily. Man, the daily's about to get a money flow across. Look, as long as we don't lose this box, that's a good invalidation for a buy, but the problem is it's a 55% drop. So let's just look at risk to rewards. That's not bad. It's a 14-to-1 risk reward. Alright, it's a 14-to-1 risk reward. Now, a better entry, obviously, would have to be this. Because we've changed market structure, like we had these were our previous highs, we've made a higher high. Because we've changed market structure, now we would look for the back test of the Fibonacci golden pocket and the value area high. So around 44.78, we get a back test here. What a beautiful rounded bottom that would be, you know, and that would give us a much better risk to reward. Although 14-to-1 is not bad, this back test now could get us in. Man, I hate how on log scale this happens. All right. That's a 23-to-1, so we're looking like another potential 10% we could make if we get the pullback. No pullback, that's like a 13-to-1. Yeah, obviously the pullback gives us a much better potential here. We gotta take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Big drop. You know, all things pointing to alt season coming. Look at that. Oh man. Okay, so we are breaking down from rejecting from the Fibonacci 786 golden pocket zone, breaking down from the trend line here. So something interesting is, you know, we back test the channel. Bitcoin sees another little bit of a pump. We make that lower high on Bitcoin dominance now after changing market structure here on the weekly. Look, we've seen this happen before. We saw this happen back in November 2024 when Trump wins the election. All right, so it's not to be overexcited about, but our Fibonacci golden pocket is lining up nice with the back test of the channel. And that could see Bitcoin dominance come all the way back down to 48%, 50%. Or you can see like a 10% drop, 10-12% drop. That's pretty crazy. It'd actually be like a 20% drop on the way down. Yeah, keep your eyes on the back test of this channel. Keep your eyes on the 64%. You know, 64% is right now key resistance for Bitcoin dominance. And let's take a look at the Bitcoin ETH chart. I'm sorry, the ETH Bitcoin chart. Man, this thing, guys, I'll tell you, this is nuts. We are bottomed out as bottomed out could be. We are bottomed out as bottomed out could be here. Wow. Wow. Yeah, this is pretty interesting, you know, when we combine this with the Bitcoin dominance, the ETH compared to Bitcoin performance here. You know, let's go to the monthly. Okay, so this is crazy. The monthly is super bottomed out. We're finding resistance at the POC. A flip, if one ETH becomes more than, I guess, 3,132 Satoshis, that's going to be ultra bullish. We're going to see, this is the most ugly, disgusting, squeezable thing. This is the most squeezable thing in the world here, guys. This action here is the most squeezable thing in the world. We could easily see Ethereum outperform Bitcoin by like 200%, which I think lines up very, 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 very nicely with the actual Ethereum USDT chart, right? We're seeing the Ethereum USDT chart extremely bullish. We're seeing a lot of altcoin charts extremely bullish. And this is a pretty crazy bullish engulfing candle on the monthly. We haven't seen anything like this since the bear market. This is now a bull market. Bullish engulfing candle on the monthly. Purple doji, another bullish engulfing candle about to confirm in a week. This is nice. All right, this is nice. Let's check out, what is it called top 3? What is the top 3 other than, I forget the dang ticker offhand. But y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Shout out to Joshua Plum, who says, "Bless you, Jason, in the mighty name of Jesus." Thanks for what you're doing. May the Lord bless you as well. In Jesus' name, in Yeshua's name. Man, praise God. I am so thankful. I am so thankful for all the Lord's goodness. Total 3, thank you. Total 3. Oh wow, total 3 looking crazy, man. Look at the monthly. About to confirm a green dot. Holding the trend line. Coming up to the resistance. We break out of the resistance, guys. That's going to be an epic breakout. I'm telling you, this is lining up perfectly. This is like the Ethereum chart right now. You know? I know people refuse to believe that alt season's coming. They refuse to believe it. Jason, it can't be. It's never going to happen, Jason. You're so dumb. You're right. I am dumb. This ain't no financial advice. We could see 1.4 trillion in our next big target at the 1-to-1. 1.618, 2.1 trillion. That's crazy. I'd be looking for our 1-to-1 first, guys. But yeah, you could see a breakout of this. That'd be a pretty crazy breakout. Let's remove all this stuff real quick. Let's do this. Let's do this. assuming a early 2026 top for this. I'm just curious here. This is log scale. I shouldn't be doing this on log scale. But I am just curious to see if we have any confluences. Not really. Nah, not really. Nothing cool to see here, guys. Move along, move along, move along. Alright. Well, guys, here's the thing. I have a VIP live stream to do where we're going to be breaking down the local trade setups for Bitcoin and maybe even some altcoins here today. So make sure to go to jasoncaspertrading.com where we give the setups in advance. Make sure, guys, to sign up if you want to trade on BLOFIN, WEEX, KCEX, and ANTARCTIC. And also check out Klein funding if you want to get a funded account. 25% discount in the description. Funded account that trades on Bitget, a crypto prop firm. That being said, I gotta head out, y'all. May God bless you. And I'll see you, Lord willing, tomorrow. Peace.